Hi, I'm Terry Smith, Technical Manager of the AAF. In this presentation, we will look at the entity ID to ensure the current and new values presented by your IDP are the same. The entity ID of IDPs and SPs are an important part of the SAML specification. The entity ID is unique for each component in the federation. The entity ID allows service providers to find the identity provider's technical details in the metadata. The entity ID is also used in the creation of several user attributes, the target ID and the shared token. The entity ID is generally formatted as a URL, which is recommended, or a URN. It does not need to match the endpoint locations of your ID, and it should never change. The IDP installer creates an entity ID for your new IDP based on the domain name of your server. In some situations, this created entity ID may not match the current entity ID of your IDP. If your new entity ID matches your old entity ID, there is nothing to do here, so you can move on to the next presentation. What happens if your new IDP has a different entity ID to your current one? There will be issues. Your IDP may not work, or your users may lose access to their earlier works or activities because their identity has been changed. If you are unsure if the old and new entity IDs match, there are two simple ways to determine the entity ID of your current IDP so you can compare. One, if you can log into your current IDP server, then it will be in the relyingparty.xml file. Or two, you can find it in the Federation registry. The entity ID is shown in the overview section of your IDP, as circled below. If you need to modify the entity ID of your new IDP, then you need to edit the Ansible configuration file that holds the value. Then rerun the Ansible to apply the change to the IDP's configuration and have it restart the IDP. In this example, we will change the entity ID from the current URL form to a URN form. Having logged into the server and become root, we navigate to the configuration directory. We now edit the file idp.demo.aaf.edu.au. We find the old entity ID and replace it. Save the file and exit. We now navigate to where the update IDP script lives and run that script. The script asks me if I'm sure. Yes, I am. The script now takes over and makes the changes to the IDP, and it will restart the IDP when done. We've now successfully changed the entity ID for this IDP. After your IDP restarts, you should test using the attribute validator. If the entity IDs match, the validator will report that there isn't a signature error rather than an unknown entity ID error. The next presentation will be on migrating the salt values used in the creation of a number of user attributes.